Hey everyone, how are you guys doing today? It is a blistery cold day here in Brooklyn, New York. And okay, so now that the smoke is starting to clear on what Merab is attempting to do and his run at Fighter of the Year for 2025, I wanted to get my opinion out there and compare it with all of your opinions. We're going to get into all that in just a second, but please guys, like the video, share it, hit that subscribe button, and down below you tell me what you think about Merab. You tell me what you think about Fighter of the Year for 2025. Tell me your thoughts on anything. Okay, so his competition for Fighter of the Year, there are some names out there, right? First of all, we have Alex Pereira. Well, his 2025, he's gone 1-1. He's regained his light heavyweight strap, and he's proved his dominance. I don't think he can win Fighter of the Year, even though he's in the conversation. I think he stands a much, much better chance at Fighter of the Year in 2026. Here's why. He lost to Magomed Ankalaev. He wasn't 100%. He runs through Magomed. And let's face facts. Let's be honest, all right? Yes, it was fun to watch, but Ankalaev was not 100%. He wasn't. So I really feel that a trilogy is necessary just to decide once and for all. So he does a trilogy. He wins that fight. Finally makes that move to heavyweight and runs for his third division championship, which would be a first in UFC history. And I talked about in another video, I'm going to link it at the end of the video in one of these corners. So just click on that. But if he finally makes that move to heavyweight and can beat Aspinall, a John Jones if he comes back, which I still highly doubt, even though he wants the Washington, D.C. White House card. But if he could beat Aspinall for the championship, if he's still champion at the time, and say defended against Gane and Curtis Blades or Gane and somebody else, 2-3 wins at heavyweight plus a trilogy against Magomed is pretty much a lock. I mean, somebody would have to go 7-0 to beat that for Fighter of the Year. Weili Zhang coming up, if she wins against Valentina Shevchenko at Madison Square Garden next month, she goes 2-0. And it becomes her second title. Going from strawweight to featherweight isn't that well, who am I to talk? But I don't think it's that tough. And not that it matters, but she would be on a 6-fight winning streak. Those things don't matter when it comes to Fight of the Year. But she, too, is in the conversation with a victory. Ilia Topuria has won his second championship. He's 1-0 this year. I would have loved to see him defend against Justin Gaethje, or even anybody else, but especially against Justin. It's not his fault he didn't get to defend that strap. I think the UFC and the powers that be are holding him back for 2026 and the new deal with Paramount. The only person who I think is close, possibly close, that could give Merab competition for Fighter of the Year 2025 is Islam Makhachev. With a win also at Madison Square Garden, he becomes 2-0 in 2025. It would be his second title as well. And I think going from lightweight to welterweight, even if he walks around at 175, 180, I think it's a tougher jump than strawweight to featherweight or featherweight to lightweight, especially against the competition. And yes, overall records don't count, but a victory against JDM, he's on a 16-fight win streak. Once again, that doesn't play into a 2025 Fighter of the Year award. Now, like I said, I think win, lose, or draw, December 6th, I think Merab locks up Fighter of the Year. He's either going to finish 4-0, 3-1, or 3-0-1. Okay? Any of those three records, I think this year it locks it up. It really does. With a victory, though, it's most title defenses in a calendar year, 4. Most title defenses in the division's history, 4. He's close to tying Anderson Silva's win streak. And remember, he started out in the UFC 0-2. Frankie Cienez smoked him, and Ricky Simone edged him out. And he's rolled aces ever since. He would have been 2 champions in a calendar year, being Sugar Sean O'Malley and Peter Yan. He becomes... Okay, as far as divisional GOAT, I run into a problem because Dominic Cruz is my 3rd favorite fighter of all time, behind Tank Abbott and Chuck Liddell. I think he is neck and neck with Dominic Cruz right now. So that one more step puts him over Dominic Cruz. He's already over Uriah Faber, Renan Barao. I would have put him in the TJ Dillashaw category, but I don't count TJ, only because of the steroids. I would have loved to see how Demetrius Johnson would have had a career at the division, but he went down to flyweight. So we'll never know. And a win also, this will be closer, pound for pound, in 2025 to close out the calendar year. It's closer with that than Fighter of the Year with Alex and Ilya and Makhachev. All those guys can easily beat Merab for pound. But Fighter of the Year might, it's probably going to be flipped. It's probably Merab's. So what's next? What does 2026 look like for Merab? I think he has to do Nurmagomedov too. He has to run it back with Umar. Okay. I think Sang Yadong, who I believe is on a 2-3 fight winning streak right now, I think he's deserving of a title shot. Does a flyweight move up to face him at bantamweight? Well, I think they're all too small, honestly. Maybe Brandon Moreno, with his striking, can move up. Maybe. And that's a stretch. Does he go to 145? That's an interesting situation. He talked post-fight about a challenge of him and Volkanovski. He said he respects him. He'd rather not do it. Okay, I respect him for that. Also said, if everything is right, and that means money. If the money's right, he'll do it. But we run into another problem at 145 if he goes up that we just had at 135. Aljamain Sterling went from 135 to 145 to give Merab the chance at the strap. What's Aljo going to do next? Go to 155 and get ripped in a new buttocks? Those two obviously don't want to fight each other, which is foolish. Okay? When it comes down to it, you fight the best competition. And if Aljo's the best and Merab has to fight him, you fight. So what? Friends or not, big deal. And Aljo's not going to go to 155. So we run into the same problem. Like I said, I think Umar and Sang Yadong have to be 1-2 for Merab in 2026. After that, I think plays it by ear. Now, why is Merab at the age of 34, and in the lighter weight classes, we talk about that magic age of 35 being the borderline of when things start to slightly deteriorate? How is Merab getting better right now? How is he on still an upward trajectory? How and why? One reason. I think it's because he's not training as much at Serra-Longo. Now look, I love the gym. I love the location in Garden City. I hate that it's off of a one-lane street because I would love to, hang outside the gym sometimes. But him going to Syndicate and working with John Wood, I think Syndicate is just 100-fold better. Now, what can Merab do to even improve even more so? Well, I would like to see Merab's striking get a little bit better. I mean, if we're going to nitpick on something that he needs to improve, striking. Obviously, the gas tank and the footwork and the pressure and the movement is top notch. Obviously, he doesn't have to worry about that. Striking defense, I could see getting improved a little bit more. Remember, Marlon Moraes wobbled him. Henry Cejudo wobbled him. And I get it, he's not the same fighter he was in those fights. But, and yes, Merab dominated Umar. But Umar had some moments. So, I think, especially if he's going to fight Sang Yadong, I think striking defense needs to be improved somewhat. And I think striking needs to be improved. I don't see him leaving Syndicate. I mean, unless maybe he's suddenly starting to work with Trevor Whitman, with the striking. I don't see any more movements. I think Syndicate 90% of the 90 to 95% of the time, and the rest with Serra-Longo. And I think the only reason why he's still working with those guys is loyalty. I think Merab is one of the most loyalist people in all of sports, to his detriment. I think he should move on 100%. And again, it sucks because I would love to hang out outside the gym, but no matter how you look at it, December 6th at UFC 323, win, lose, or draw, he's already stamped an amazing calendar year. I think he can lock up his legacy. Just staying in the division, the way Anderson did, the way John did. There are some guys that don't have to bounce between divisions. And Merab might be one of those guys. And look, he's 34 now. He said he wants to fight till he's like 50, 52 years old. I don't know if he could last that long. I don't think his gas tank will let him last that long. But we'll see. So, guys, again, please like the video, share it, hit that subscribe button. Costs you nothing to do that. Helps me out. Down below, you tell me what you think about Merab, about Fighter of the Year award, pound for pound you could talk about, and watch the Alex Pereira video that I'm going to link up to one of these corners. Watch that one too. Because 2026, Alex, 3-division champion, it's in the realm of possibility now. So until that next video, Cyclone saying, peace out, homies.